Hello, you're watching TeleSUR English. I'm Luis Alberto Matos, and these are the headlines at this hour. This Sunday, Venezuela pays tribute to the leader of the Bolivarian Revolution, Hugo Chavez, on the 10th anniversary of his physical departure. From Lara State, our collaborator Alejandro Kirk with the latest details on today's Paramount date.
Hi, greetings from El Maizal. This is a cornfield. This is a socialist commune in a locality called La Miel, which is some 400 kilometers west of Caracas. And we are here in a dual situation. We are celebrating the 14th anniversary of this socialist enterprise, and at the same time mourning Hugo Chavez, who passed away 10 years ago on this same day, March 5th. And for that, we are interviewing here today comrade Ángel Prado, who is the founder of this commune, who is also the mayor of this town around here, and who was a close associate with President Chavez. Thanks, Mr. Prado, for being with us. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. ¿Qué actividades se están realizando hoy para conmemorar tanto el fallecimiento del presidente Chávez como la fundación de la comuna? What activities are you realizing taking place today here in order to celebrate the founding of this commune and also mourning President Chávez?
5 de marzo, estamos en nuestra comuna El Maizal, comuna socialista El Maizal, recordando pues este día histórico cuando nos visitó nuestro comandante Chávez y se funda nuestra comuna. Pues 4 años después recibimos la trágica noticia de que un 5 de marzo también es la partida física, fallece nuestro comandante Hugo Chávez, pero aquí en esta comuna le recordamos con alegría, le recordamos con música, con canto, compartimos comidas y es un día de fiesta popular donde nuestra juventud, nuestros cultores, nuestra cultura y nuestro pueblo se dan cita para conmemorar este 14 aniversario de la Comuna El Maizal.
Well, briefly, today, on a day like today, President Chavez was here with us funding this commune, funding this socialist project, which is part of the Bolivarian Revolution, and we are celebrating that, and at the same time we are remembering him with music, with debates, with several activities that we are organizing here today in a joyful spirit, because Chavez was somebody who would never allow himself to be down, to be sad, not to give up to whatever difficulties he had in life. So we're celebrating Chavez with us today in a great party that we are holding. Alcalde, ¿cuál es la mejor manera según usted, de honrar la memoria de Chávez en un momento difícil para la patria como es este? Mayor, how would you say that you would celebrate, you would honor Chávez's legacy in the difficult situation we are going through right now in the country?
Nuestra comuna hoy pues rinde homenaje al comandante Chávez, sirviendo a nuestro pueblo, siendo útil a nuestro pueblo, convocando siempre a nuestro pueblo a ser protagonista de su propio desarrollo. Hoy somos grandes en la salud, hemos construido vivienda, hemos producido, hemos convocado a nuestra juventud, hemos atendido la educación de nuestros niños y pues hoy estamos desarrollando grandes programas sociales que atiendan a esa necesidad de nuestro pueblo, que mejoren la calidad de vida de nuestro pueblo para que nadie se rinda, pues para que nadie claudique y para que sigamos siendo victoriosos con nuestra revolución. Creo que es el mayor homenaje a nuestro comandante Chávez, ser útil a los más pobres, ser útil a nuestro pueblo.
Well, the best homage, the best way to honor Commander Chavez is producing, reinforcing the organization of the people so that nobody ever surrenders to the imperialist and to the reaction in this country, and reinforcing the achievements of the Bolivarian Revolution, such as health, education, housing, and others, and especially here in El Maizal, producing food, producing milk, producing cheese, and developing this project in order to be national. Alcalde, muchísimas gracias por estar con TeleSUR. Alcalde, thank you very much for being with TeleSUR.
Thank you, Alejandro, for this contact. We now go live to Caracas. The Venezuelan people pay tribute to Commander Hugo Chavez at the Cuartel de la Montaña, the mountain barracks, 10 years after his physical departure.
De allí la importancia de la definición antiimperialista y seguir fortaleciendo el compromiso revolucionario es continuar.
We need to continue to strengthen our revolutionary conscience in Venezuela and in the world, to continue making progress in what Chavez told us, this multicentric and multipolar world. We need to continue building together with this different world, and better and possible world, and a very necessary world. We need to continue fighting. And that means strengthening our military-civilian union in our country. Special greetings to our brothers and sisters of our Bolivarian military forces and our government representatives, ministers, spokesmen and women of our popular power, indigenous leaders and spokesmen and women of those communities here with us today. We need to continue strengthening Chavez's legacy for us in our country and for the world. We need to continue building union, and we will be invincible. I believe this is the best way in which we can commemorate Chavez's legacy and memory, and that's why we are here. As Padre Numa Molina says, we are here commemorating life, because Chavez will always be with us. He is and he will always be with us. Long live Chavez and Venezuela. We will live and we will overcome.
A propósito de la siembra del comandante en los pueblos del mundo, hoy tenemos la representación.
Today we have the representation of one of his friends, one of Chavez's friends, with whom he had a very close relationship beyond our borders. Today we have here with us Rafael Correa, former president of Ecuador, a very close friend to former President Chavez. March the 5th, 2013. It was a very hard hit. It was a deadly blow to our hearts. Those were verses from Miguel Hernandez that struck us very hard when we learned the news that our friend Hugo Rafael Chavez Frias, president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, had passed away. He freed this country from the hands that had always exploited the country. He was a revolutionary man that became legend. He was a friend and a brother. From his native land, Sabanetas, Barinas, he walked this land feeling the poverty on his own flesh. He founded on Bolivar's 200th anniversary, he founded a front to fight against injustice. When life and destiny put him in front of a Bolivarian and Venezuelan people, he had the strength to lead a revolution of conscience, of faith in Latin America. The same way my fellow countryman sang to Bolivar, today I want to sing to Chavez. These people misses and loves you. Hugo Chavez always demonstrated great devotion and love for his people. I met Hugo in 2005 in one of the many summits we attended as presidents, while many of their peoples continued in the abyss. I was a young and vibrant economy minister in Ecuador. To pretend having a fair policy for the people was very difficult. I followed Hugo Chavez from the very moment he won the elections against all odds. And with that, he began a cycle of hope that extended all throughout our Latin America. This region became an example for the world. All our presidents had a fraternal and complicit relationship. He had tried to defend his people with the weapons from this Cuartel de la Montaña. Cursed be the soldier who turned his weapons against his own people, he said. He was a man that, following on the footsteps of Simón Bolívar, wanted to free his people from poverty and inequity. But that doubt was dissipated on April 2022. Venezuelan people went to the streets to release Chavez. When I came to him in Asunción, I noticed surprise in his face. Here I have in front of me an economy minister educated in the United States, trying to, with his personal greatness, he gave me his total support. His support soon became true friendship, and this friendship only grew over time. Men and women who lead revolutions will always be considered as polemic figures. Today, no one can stop doing it. It is impossible to try to free our peoples from 200 years of poverty without being polemic. We have the words of Saint Ignatius Loyola, and I remember every talk, every conversation when Uribe in Colombia, his passion for turning Alba into the voice of America, of Latin America. I always could count on his support and his strength. I trusted him and looked up to him as a big brother. Today, it is his beloved country, the one that suffers a brutal blockade, an attack. We need to give credit to the Bolivarian armed forces. When they have a blockade from foreign powers and they cannot defeat a developing country, is thanks to its armed forces. They have tried to do this in Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, and they haven't been able to. Congratulations to the Venezuelan armed forces. They know that if they try to invade Venezuela, they will find another Vietnam. They have tried to do it with these brutal sanctions and blockade, and they have stolen Venezuela decades of development and stability. These very brave people that supported Hugo will be able to triumph. Venezuela will triumph at the end, and with Venezuela, all the peoples of Latin America. On July 2022, we were in Salinas for the 9th Binational Cabinet, a meeting we held among friend governments. We were waiting for breakfast, and although Hugo was not precisely a very punctual man, it was too much this time. When he finally arrived, he could barely walk. He made a really good hard effort because of a pain he was suffering. He traveled to Cuba to get medical attention, and soon after we learned about his disease. Months after, we traveled with the Ecuadorian ambassador to a Cuban clinic, and then we went to visit Fidel. And he had to share the news with us, although it was confidential, that this type of cancer was lethal. Nicolas Maduro, as Venezuelan vice president in that moment, gave the news to his people. 4:25, President Hugo Chavez has passed away. We transmit this pain to all our people. And in this very sad moment, we call all Venezuelan people to be guardians of peace and respect. The message broke my soul. Although we learned very well, the ones who die for life are not really dead. The ones who die defending lives continue living. This will echo through the centuries in the voices of women, soldiers, poets, militants, students and workers, indigenous and peoples and farmers. As every giant, he was able to do the greatest deeds without, and he still remained very tender. We have this verse that reveals his moral stature, and then, only then, at the end of my life, will I be here for you, and I would find comfort in your motherly love, and I would tell you about my pains, and then you would spread your arms and hug me. You would sing a tender song to me, and you would take me elsewhere. And now it is you, dear Hugo, who are sought after. Your father, Don Hugo de Reyes, your brothers, your children are looking for you, and they find comfort in your love as a father, a child, and a brother. Dear Hugo, You were loved by a majority with passion. You were hated by a minority with fanaticism, but you were noticed by everybody. That is the destiny of transcendent men. We will continue to play forbidden games following your example. We will continue living without having a price. You wake up when the people wakes up. I say, all my life, and by the love of my people, I will devote until the last second to this fight for democracy and the respect of human rights. I swear it. And you were true to your word, Hugo, President and brother. We will meet in eternity, Commander.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much.
A Rafael Correa por tan
Rafael
hermosas y
Correa
sabias palabras
for his very beautiful words,
que reflejan el sentimiento de los pueblos
a
del mundo,
reflection,
los amigos
the
del
feelings
comandante
of the
Chávez,
peoples
que
of the
son
world,
hermanos de la Patria
friends
Grande ahora.
to our Hugo Chavez and to our Venezuelan people.
Escucharemos palabras en nombre del gobierno
Now,
bolivariano de Venezuela,
words from the Bolivarian government of
del
Venezuela,
ministro Ricardo Menéndez,
from Minister Ricardo
sectorial,
Menendez, sectional vice president for planning.
Dijiste que iba a ser duro.
You said it was going to be hard,
Los enemigos
that
se abalanzarían.
the enemies will come for us,
Imperialismo
and the
frotándose las manos y agitando su soberbia,
imperialism
desató la
rubbing
guerra
its
más grande
hand.
que se ha conocido sobre Venezuela. Advertiste de la
You
miseria
warned
de la
us
traición,
about the misery of
de quienes
treason,
usarían tu nombre,
the ones who would use
y
your
como en
name,
cada ciclo de la historia,
and as in every
buscan hacer
cycle of history,
reversible
they
la revolución bolivariana.
would look
Los
to reverse the
traidores,
Bolivarian revolution.
disipados de la
Traitors
historia, son marketing inútil
are
de la búsqueda
useless
imperial,
marketing
de pretender
for
desmoralizar a nuestro
imperialism in their futile attempt to discredit our people.
pueblo. Hecho caligrafía colectiva.
You
A
drew
nadie susurraste
the
al
plan
oído,
for the
ni
people.
tiene claves individualizadas.
You didn't whisper
Espíritu de los
anyone
cuatro vientos,
in the
y
ear.
legado del pueblo, con crudeza cada ruta.
You delivered a legacy for the people
Cada objetivo, claro, preciso, para que
in
nadie
a
se
very
confunda.
precise way so no one
Tus
could
enemigos
get
y
confused.
adversarios
Your
han
enemies
pretendido cortar la historia.
have pretended to
Han
cut
pretendido
history.
encapsularte en un momento pasado,
They have pretended
en
to
un cuarto de
encircle you
nostalgia,
in a
con el
determined
dolor que
period
inmoviliza para que avancen sus
with an
detractores,
immobilizing
con la
pain,
pretensión sistémica de
according
querer
to a
vaciarte de
systematic
contenido.
pretension
No hay forma de
of
hablar de ti en
emptying
pasado,
you.
comandante.
We cannot talk
No
about you in the
existe el pretérito
past.
al lado de tu nombre.
It is
Has
not
estado
possible when talking
en cada
about you.
minuto de
You've
la
been here
resistencia
with us
heroica.
in every minute of
Cuando tras tu
resistance.
deceso, un solo grito popular
After
retumbó en la
your
patria.
demise, an
Era el llanto
shout
que impregnaba las selvas, las montañas,
was
las
heard
pampas, las
in
sabanas.
every mountain
En un
and
temblor
forest of our
Chávez, y sin saber
country.
cómo, cada quien se valentonó como pudo.
Hugo Chavez,
Y salió
that's what
Nicolás
we said.
a construir el liderazgo colectivo,
And then came
a
Nicolas
hacer de la unidad
to
una
build the
estrategia
collective good.
y un objetivo histórico de la lucha. Y vinieron por tu nombre.
And then
Y
they
se
came for your
disfrazaron de
name.
Chávez para confundir al
And
pueblo.
they assumed your mantle.
Y vinieron con la violencia de calle buscando una guerra civil.
And they came looking for a
asesinando
civil
nuestro pueblo en la
war,
calle,
murdering all
sembrando
people on the
odio para
streets.
fracturar a la sociedad. Y no pudieron.
They tried to fracture our
Y lanzaron
society and
el
they
decreto
could not
imperial
do it.
y la operación Tenaza. Y buscaron secar la economía,
They launched
sacar
imperial
todos los papeles de
operations,
moneda y
destroyed the
venderlos al
economy,
extranjero. Y no pudieron.
and they could not do it.
Tras la agresión, la
After
fuerza,
the
el
aggression,
golpe financiero,
the
secar las
economic
fuentes de recursos, de
attack
protección al pueblo, la ruptura institucional.
and provoke institutional rupture. Do you know, Chavez? You were born
Apareciste
again.
como fuerza creadora,
You appear as a
no como
creative
cálculo,
force,
sino como método, con
as
los
a method,
principios, con el apego a la
with
Constitución,
principles and with
al plan de
respect
la
for the
patria.
Constitution and the
Y a la
country's
guerra
plan
civil
and the
vino
homeland
la
land.
pacificación
After
constituyente.
civil war came constituent pacification and then permanent mobilization to the attempt of making the people starve. We had the people government organization. When they pretended to soil Bolivar's lard, we have the civilian military unity. They cannot do it, Commander. They cannot do it, and they are not going to be able to do it. As Bolivar, you talked, Fidel, about the pains of not being able to do the impossible. Your country has fought the most incredible battles. You're not the past, you are the present struggle, moral and convictions. You are not just a quotation, you are a method, a revolutionary method, a life doctrine. When we say that we follow Chavez, we do it with every fiber of our bodies. It is the essence made culture in the human principles of our nationality, of being human beings in every moment of our lives. But it's not enough with battles, with resistance. It is in your name that we come for the future. We raised after the war. Your people in Venezuela is coming for 2030. They wanted to attack the Bolivarian Revolution so they can rip Bolivarian roots from our continent. But this is the direct democracy, the great element of political thesis and practice. They did it during the pandemics. They accused socialism. Now it's not just a model, but the only possible alternative for the lives of people. Commander, we've suffered enormous pains. You did it. You are your people, and your people is Chavez, and that means future. Chavez lives. With these words, very emotional words, we invite Commander Chavez's family to come to the superior part of the Four Elements flower for the flower tribute, after which the rest of our guests will come. Today brings us together with a Bolivarian feeling. We need to get out of this temple of the homeland, decided to be more like Chavez. This is the best way we can honor him. The legacy of Savaneta's giant is remembered with love by the Bolivarian people. The love that changed the destinies of our homeland with his thoughts and deeds. Commander Hugo Chavez, 59, went to immortality on March the 5th. It's one of the saddest pieces of news Venezuela received. His body rests in the Four Elements flower, representing fire, earth, water, and air. This monument was erected over a pool with pink, green, and gray petals as a metaphor of a racing country. It means the country's ideals, those Chavez always defended. We see the family members of Chavez offering flowers for Commander Hugo Chavez. Is a very emotional moment we are seeing. And we also see members of the Venezuelan Socialist Party. And now we can listen to Llanera music, very beloved musical genre by our beloved Commander Hugo Chavez.
We're watching live images from the Cuartel de la Montaña. Religious authorities pay tribute to Commander Hugo Chavez. Former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, highlighted the important values of Commander Chavez for the emancipation of the peoples of the world. The former president said Chavez's legacy will echo for centuries because those who die for life and those who die for the liberty of the people never truly die. Venezuelan Vice President of the Council of Ministers of Planning, Ricardo Menendez, stressed the courage of Commander Hugo Chavez in the face of many challenges and his unbending will to fight always for the well-being of his people. We will continue providing updates on today's paramount activities commemorating Commander Hugo Chavez in upcoming news briefs. Stay tuned with TeleSUR English.